What's going on, guys? Ben with Tweed's Lawn Care here to show you how to install a fuel sender and fuel gauge kit on the Toro TimeCutter Max. This is a 54-inch deck. I already made a video on how to install the hour gauge because Toro does not want to install just very simple things onto an expensive machine. So I found this kit off of Amazon. It's 100 Tech is the brand. Essentially it's size 6-inch. So the reason I ordered that is because I already pre-drilled just to see the depth of the gas tank. So I got all my tools ready. I'm going to show you exactly what size hole saw bits to use, wrenches, tools, the components of the sender kit. It'll all be in the description. I'll do step-by-step process. Had to do a little finagling figuring out how I was going to wire it itself, because unfortunately the instructions are not very clear. It is used for marine applications, so for boats, so kind of I wouldn't say jerry-rigging it, but using it for a different application than it's sold for. First, guys, you got to take off the seat. There's a little lever underneath here. You just slide it back, expose these two Torx star bits on this. I ended up having to use my torque wrench to get these screws off. Not easy. It's a T35 Torx bit. So, in order to pop it off, it definitely required more torque than an impact driver or a regular drill could handle. So I'm going to go ahead and take off. There's two in the front and two in the back. Alright, then just pops right off. But just be careful. I learned this the hard way. There is an actual plug that registers when you're sitting on the actual seat. It's got a little clip, pop that right off, and then you can take the whole seat off. As you can see, the full gas tank is exposed right here. So when I go to show you guys exactly how to disassemble this control panel area, essentially all you're gonna do is just take this single screw out right here. The panel is very small, so there's gonna be nowhere to actually cut the 2-inch hole for the gauge to go. So I'm gonna do the hole somewhere around there. I would say, maybe a little bit recessed down from that. It's gonna be a little bit difficult to see it from your seat, but it's better than not having it at all. If you can see, there is nowhere unless you're looking through the spring to try to see the gauge, and even then you can't tell. There's nothing on the side, there's just a gas gauge. So typical Toro, make good machines, but they don't install the simple things that when we're riding we like to know. The two components that this comes with, this kit, is the float mechanism, the sender. Essentially when this float raises, you're gonna see the gauge go up and down on this. So it's not a perfect science. It's only gonna read in 1/8-inch increments. So you're gonna get 1/8 of a tank, quarter tank, and so on. But those are the two components. What I did is 2 inches, 2 1/8, I believe, for the whole saw bit. Let's see. Nope, I decided to go with a 2-inch one. I don't know if you can see that with the sunlight or not, but this is the 2-inch hole saw bit right here to actually cut the hole in the plastic for the gauge. And then this bit is for drilling in the size of the float. That's all you need to do. Then once you install it, that's where you're going to drill out the actual holes to hold it in there. And I'll show you what I'm talking about that when I line it up on the tank. So I decided to go in the center area of this tank. It was what I could visibly observe, the deepest part of the tank. It's in a relatively easy area to access. What's good is once you remove the seat, there's a pretty large area of the tank. It's not too far away, as you can see from the actual control panel, back to where I'm gonna actually install the gauge. So what I did was I just took this leftover tent stake and essentially stuck it down in, and where it hit, I could hear it hitting right there. So I pulled it out and I measured that, and that was 7 inches. So I went ahead and ordered the 6-inch sender and gauge because you want the float to be a minimum of 1 inch off of the bottom of the tank so that the float can register the exact or pretty close to the level of the gas inside the tank. The hole saw bit that you're going to use to drill into this tank, it is actually 1 3/8. It is not 1 1/8, which is what I believe I said before. So it's going to be a little bit bigger than the diameter of the float on the sender. We're just essentially going to drill right through this, you know, take it easy, and then hopefully the plastic does not fall down in the tank. And it did not. I was trying to go as slow as possible, and this plastic is actually pretty thick. Okay guys, I got the hole drilled, the 1 3/8 hole saw bit. I put a little piece of tape over there because it's windy today. Don't want stuff blowing in the gas tank. I have the sender unit right here. Just basically metal on the top. These drilled holes are not in the same orientation all the way around, so you need to make sure that when you do drill your pilot holes for the holes around the circle, they're in the right orientation. Another thing that I saw from a previous YouTuber was to not use some sort of drill or impact driver to put the screws in. Just use a hand tightened screwdriver. The drill hole size is going to be 30 seconds. Everything is blowing off of my table right now, which is fantastic. Then you're gonna have this blue and brown wire, which I will show you how to set up. So I have the sender with the float mechanism in there. Just slid it down in my 1 3/8 hole. But also, I pull it back out in a second. In this little envelope, you have a rubber gasket just to maintain that seal. Let's grab that out. This around there. Shove that back in. Okay. So trying to get the rubber lined up. There we go. Okay. So at this point you can kind of mark out where your holes are going to be. Got a pencil, a Sharpie would be better. Still doing the trick. Okay, so now that I have all my holes marked out, I'm gonna pull the float out. I'm gonna just drill 2 holes. Also, really make sure you keep this rubber gasket lined up, otherwise you're gonna be fidgeting with it for a little bit. Probably already got it messed up. Like I said, I'm just gonna drill 2 holes right now. 5 30-second bit. Goes in pretty easy. Try to get that plastic from going in there. Okay, so then I'm gonna put the sender back on, and of course the rubber got messed up. Okay, found it. It's just gonna be easier to put these 2 screws in first with the screwdriver and then drill the holes through so that they're actually lined up. Yeah, so you gotta use a little force, but it's catching really well. Yeah. Once I have all those in there, that's not gonna go anywhere. Oh yeah. Alright guys, guys, here's the fun part. So I've measured out, it's about 6 inches wide. I'm gonna do about 3 inches. However deep you want to do it is up to you. I'm gonna use this 2-inch hole saw bit. Gonna go in slowly. This is just plastic right here. This component of the control panel is metal. Unfortunately, we're maxed out with components right there, so we're just gonna go into this plastic, and then we're gonna run the wires down to the bottom, and I'll show you how to hook up everything. Bam. As you can see, it's just straight through. You can see the spring mechanism for the My Ride suspension system. Did not hit that, which is good. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take this screw off. Pull that out. Now here's the complicated part. So not really complicated, but more of just annoying. Got to push down the actual throttle in order to pop this out. So I had to use, a little bit of strength just to pop that out. Then you're going to see a bunch of wires, and you're going to see that I have already cut the hot wire so that I can mix the wires together. Now this is where it gets complicated. So what I had to do was I went to Ace Hardware and I bought a black wire and hooked it up to my neutral terminal on my battery, and I have run it all the way underneath, and it is going to go right up in under and tie into the wires. I'm about to put the wire diagram on the screen. It's just going to be easier for me to show you guys with the wire diagram. I'll show you once I have hooked them up together what I did. Now I haven't discovered a way to not have the backlight running. If anybody has any recommendations in the comments, let me know. The wiring harness does not have an actual piggyback on it so that you can tap into the hot wire. So essentially I had to splice off of the ignition harness, so no matter what, it's going to be hooked up to my battery and just kind of permanently on. Hopefully it does not drain it. It's very low voltage coming from the actual gauge, but we will find out. Connected the wires, so you got your neutral wire, which is your black wire, coming off of your battery right here. I let it underneath, let it to the blue wire from the actual sender itself, and then the other blue wire, they are connected all together with the neutral. So double blue and then black neutral wire that I got from Ace Hardware. Then we have the brown wire and then the black wire. So brown wire from the sender to this connected with the black wire from the gauge. Then we're gonna come over here, pop this open. The reason I didn't film this is because it was a real big pain to try to do it and get it connected right. But essentially you have your red and orange wire that are coming from the gauge. Those go together and then they just power in with the red wire that's coming off of the ignition. So just think red with red and orange. Red, red, orange. They're all connected together. That's essentially what's giving you your power. So like I said, this is currently on. You can see the backlight. I have no gas in there. That's why. The other side. So you can see it's backlit, but the problem is that it's always going to be on. So having low gas right now, I'm going to fill it up and just show you guys that, essentially it works, and it's not tied into the ignition. I'm going to screw this back down in and put the seat back on, and we'll be good to go. Put the seat back, plug it in, seat control. Want to make sure you plug that in. I had tried to turn it on before with that not plugged in, and every time I put it into gear, it shut off. Just got to line up the holes. Tori's back together. It's my nickname for her. Got my little balls hanging off of the keychain. My wife got me those. perfectly installed. Really like, you know, the backlight, which is cool, even though when it's sunny out, I'm not really gonna be able to see it. But I tried to orientate it so it was on the side when I sit down. I can just kind of rotate my head and see it from there. You know, it's not ideal. I wish it was more forward on the control panel right here, but at least I have a gauge now. Another video down, another small little instrument installed on a mower that should have had it to begin with. You've already heard me complain about it enough, but I will say that this was a relatively easy job. You know, it was more the filming of it that was complicated, but if I had done it, you know, all in a row, I would say it maybe take me a half hour. You know, it's just something that, you know, I personally wanted. It's not necessary, but there's literally no way to view the actual gas. You know, it's all concealed by the seat and, you know, the MyRide suspension system, and you're basically just guessing, you know, in the middle of the lawn when you're gonna run out. So I think that this was you know, a necessary step to just keep making the mower better. I'm gonna add some my neighbor has a canopy, and I'm like, that's a little over the top, but I think I'm gonna add some armrests onto it. I have a video coming out of adding a side bagger that I had installed. I'll give you guys a review on what I think about that. I've had the mower now for 2 years, going on 2 years this spring. Really like it. It's beat up a little bit now, but I'll clean it up, and actually really dig the fact that you can connect hose to this and clean out the bottom of your deck. So that's definitely a big perk. But yeah, overall, really looking forward to springtime. I'll make some videos of, you know, my lawn program and what I think of the best way to grow grass in springtime. All right, guys, thanks for watching.